Hello, Namaste. This is the Early Days episode 2. The Early Days is a show where we study about the greatest world's businesses and we learn lessons from there. So today we are picking up Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder is a story of a woman who started from making face creams at home, to building an empire, a global empire worth $5 billion. This is a story of passion, persistence, and obsession. Reading the book, it amazed me again and again that how obsessed, how passionate a person can be with his own business. Estee basically, she says that when you do a business, you have to marry a business. It's not an affair. It's not a friendship. You have to marry a business. You basically eat business, sleep business, walk business. That's how involved you are in your business, and that's when it becomes like one of the world's biggest beauty and cosmetic company. A lot of you might not have heard of Estee Lauder, maybe because I think in India their presence is not that huge. But actually, there's this brand Clinique, which is by this company Estee Lauder, and this you would have seen and heard. They have a Clinique store in India in all the malls. For the females here, I'm sure you have heard about Estee and Clinique both. For the men here, if you have not heard, this is the third biggest global cosmetics and makeup company, and your wives and your daughter-in-laws would definitely know about it. This lady, Estee, when she started, वो घर में creams बनाती थी. Uh, from there, when she died, she was among the richest 300 people, and her company was like a global empire, like we've already discussed. What we'll do in this episode is we'll just talk about her journey. And as we discuss her journey, her life journey, what she did, how they grew, we will discuss the strategies along with that. So starting very early, Estee says that at age 8, जब वो 8 साल की थी, तभी से ही she was sort of obsessed with अपने घर में जितने भी लोग थे उनके बाल कोम करना, उनकी स्किन टच करना, उनके क्रीम लगाते रहना, एंड देखना कि अच्छा फेस उनका ठीक हुआ, कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड किया. मतलब शुरू से ही उनको शी वॉज ऑब्सेस्ड विद ब्यूटी, शी वॉज ऑब्सेस्ड विद फैशन, शी लव्ड फैब्रिक्स. So she realized at the age of 12 only, she says that she had a feeling that she really has an exceptional passion for beauty and fashion, and she did wonder that she would go into this business line. At the age of 12, she met her Uncle John, as I say, and Uncle John was a skin specialist. So he mentored Estee, and he used to make creams in his lab. लैब क्या, उनके घर के बाहर उन्होंने एक एरिया सा डेजिग्नेट कर लिया था जहाँ पे वो गैस पे ये क्रीम्स बनाते थे, एंड एस्टे लर्न फ्रॉम हिम. वो स्कूल से आती थी, स्कूल से आते ही दैट्स ऑल शी यूज्ड टू डू डे एंड नाइट, एंड दैट्स हाउ शी लर्न हाउ टू मेक दीज क्रीम्स दैट हेल्प योर स्किन गेट बेटर. वो ये क्रीम्स बनाती थी और वो साथ साथ ही अपने स्कूल में अपने फ्रेंड्स सबको इनकी स्किन कैसी है उसके हिसाब से शी वुड अप्लाई क्रीम, शी वुड गिव दैट सैंपल टू हर कि अच्छा ठीक है यूज करो, देखो क्या है. एंड दिस इज एज 12, वी आर स्टिल टॉकिंग अबाउट व्हेन एस्टे वाज इन स्कूल. And she started becoming popular among her friends ki, okay, her creams work and all that, and there was a word spreading around about Estee ki, okay, she knows this stuff. In 1930, so Estee was born in 1908. So about when she was 22 years old, she got married. She had a son, and she started taking care of her family. But she was not officially in business, but even while she was taking care of her family, she used to keep making creams at her home. She used to keep improving on them. She used to keep trying on her and other people ki how are they helping, could they be made better, and she apparently made them better and better when she couldn't do business outside, but she was at home taking care of the family. One thing she would do is she would go to salons, and salons में क्या होता था कि so there used to be a lot of ladies, and already mood क्या होता था कि हम अपना स्किन केयर एंड हेयर केयर के लिए सलोन में आए हुए हैं. एंड सो पहले जब बाल ड्राई करते थे तो अपेरेंटली एक इक्विपमेंट के नीचे बैठ जाते थे आधा पौना घंटा के लिए, एंड यू वुड जस्ट सिट एंड बाल ड्राई हो रहे हैं, यू वुड बी टॉक टू हियर देयर. अभी जैसे हम ब्लो ड्राई करते हैं वैसा नहीं होता, पहले थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट था. सो बेसिकली लेडीज वुड बी सिटिंग एंड दे वुड हैव टाइम. Estee, when ladies would be in this position, their बाल सूख रहे हैं और बैठे हैं, एस्टे उस समय उनका मेकअप करती थी कि आप बैठे हुए हैं तो मैं आपका मेकअप कर देती हूँ, इफ यू लाइक इट गुड, इफ यू डोंट लाइक इट इट्स ओके, बट यू विल रियली लाइक इट. And at that time, she would do her makeup, and by the time the lady would be ready to get up, Estee would have been done. Estee anyway used to take, I think, 7-8 minutes in this whole routine. And the lady would see her face and she'd be like, "Oh, I like it." And she would buy a couple of products. If not, then Estee would give her samples. Just try it out. That's how her word spread. Right now, she's doing nothing other than this. She's making creams at home. She's going to salons because it's the right atmosphere for these kind of products. And she's talking to ladies there and giving them live demos. Gradually, with this, what happened? People started to know her for these products. Apparently, her products were very good. Estee says that she was extremely confident about the effectiveness of her skincare products. She had 4 products. It was not very complicated. She had simple 4 products, and she just worked on excelling those 4 products. And apparently, they were very, very useful. And people used to come back for those products. People used to tell other people that these are the products that this Estee has, and they're really good. She made friends with these women in the salon. वो उनको घर बुला लेती थी कि आ जाओ, मैं beauty lessons दूंगी. I'll tell you how to do makeup, how to apply skincare, and that's how she created her own circle of people interested in such stuff, interested in beauty and makeup, and friends. She started socializing. She started meeting people. She was a what we say a party bird, uh, a social bird. She used to love meeting people, talking to them. She was very energetic with people, so she could do that without getting tired. Then one day, जिस salon में वो जाती थी और बातें करती थी and all, वहीं पे जो salon की जो owner थी, she said, "Estee, I see your products doing well. Why don't you give me a demo?" She said, "Very well, I would love to." So she came there, and which is Mrs. Moore salon की owner का नाम था, and she was busy in something. So she said, "Estee, products छोड़ दो, I'll have a look later." First insight here about this thing. Estee was like, never leave your samples like that. Give a live demo. That is the most effective way to selling. And Estee was a very aggressive seller. So abhi to business officially start nahi hua hai, but Estee believed that even if you have the best product in the world, you have to sell it aggressively. So she said, "Mrs. Moore, it will just take a few minutes. Let me do the makeup myself." Mrs. Moore again said, "I'm not really, I don't really have time." But Estee insisted, and she just, ho gaya, makeup kiya. Mrs. Moore liked it there and then, and she said, "Okay, you know what, Estee? Why don't you open a small counter in my salon where you can display your products and sell? My customers would also like that." This was like the first step towards a dream. Estee was too happy to say anything. She was like, "Yes." So this is the first small start, first small beginning of this empire that becomes the top, one of the top companies of the world. So she took a small corner in that salon. उन्होंने वहाँ पे अपने products रखे, वो वहाँ पे खड़ी होती थी, and she started standing there. वहीं से then again customers जो भी आते थे उनको product सिखाना, कोई भी customers थोड़ा सा भी अगर inclination दिखाता था तो उसको makeup करना. So ये वो बहुत ये उनका basically एक principle था. All these time when she was trying to build a following for her products and reputation, even later actually. कोई भी है, किसी ने थोड़ा सा भी इंटरेस्ट दिखाया, नहीं भी दिखाया, शी कुड परसुएट, वो मेकअप करती थी. सबसे पहले वो मेकअप, उनका पैक वगैरह जो भी था, इट यूज्ड टू बी लाइक 5 minutes, 4-5 minutes. She would show her to that. When the woman would like it, she would herself ask, अच्छा ठीक है, ये products आप मुझे दे दो and all that. And another thing that Estee started, which at that time nobody was doing, right now although a lot of companies are doing, is giving samples. So Estee अपने products को छोटे 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 pouches में, jars में जो भी मिलता था उसमें रख लेती थी. And कोई भी है, उसको वो प्रोडक्ट अच्छा लगा पर उसने नहीं खरीदा तो उसको सैंपल दे दिया, या उसको प्रोडक्ट अच्छा लगा, उसने कुछ चीजें खरीदी, कुछ चीजें नहीं खरीदी, जो नहीं खरीदी उसका सैंपल दे दिया कि आप जाओ घर में तसल्ली से ट्राई करना. सो this was a basic principle, this was a basic way Estee lived at that time, कि जो भी मिल रहा है, जहां भी मिल रहा है. और अभी तो खैर वो सलोन में खड़ी थी. उसके अदरवाइज उसके अलावा भी वो ट्रेन्स में जाती थी, लिफ्ट्स में, स्विमिंग पूल, पार्टी, कहीं भी वो जाती थी. अपने सलोन के अलावा भी, सलोन में तो वो करती ही थी, वो कहीं भी जाती थी. वो इवन वेकेशंस पे भी, शी यूज्ड टू टेक वर्किंग वेकेशंस, तो वो कहीं भी जाती थी, शी वुड स्टार्ट गिविंग ब्यूटी लेसन्स, ऐसे करना चाहिए, ऐसे करना चाहिए, एंड शी वुड गिव डेमोज ऑफ मेकअप, लाइव डेमोज में. एस्टे वाज अ वेरी वेरी फर्म बिलीवर. she would say कि you have to give a live demo for that person to get convinced what the product is about. And आप मानेंगे, she would, her average was to touch, like, uh, make up a live demo of average 50 faces a day. आप सोचिए वो कितना कितना कंटिन्यूसली ये करती होंगी कि वो कोई भी कहीं मिल रहा है उसको कन्विंस करना, 50 मेकअप्स अ डे करना, 50 डेमोज अ डे देना. Like I said, it's a story of obsession and passion. So that was a routine. कहीं भी जाना, लोगों से मिलना, लोगों से बातें करना, लोगों से ब्यूटी के बारे में बातें करना, उनके बारे में जानना. शी वॉज अ प्रो एट क्रिएटिंग रिलेशनशिप्स. उनको लाइव डेमोज देना, फिर उसके बाद उनको सैंपल्स देना. इसको वो अपना टेल अ वुमन कैंपेन भी बताती थी. तो आप जितना सैंपल्स दोगे, जितने लाइव डेमोज करोगे, वो लोग और आगे 5 लोगों को बताएंगे, वो लोग और आगे बताएंगे, एंड दैट इज हाउ द वर्ड वुड स्प्रेड. Now what happened? She started becoming popular in the salon. People started talking about her because if you're touching so many people's lives, people would definitely be talking about you. And she started getting offer from more salons कि आप हमारे counter setup करो. Our customers are demanding your products. We have come to hear about them. हमारे counter setup करो. So उनको ऐसे पहला offer आया, and then she started the search for a saleswoman. कैसे उन्होंने सेल्स वुमेन हायर करी अपने फर्स्ट काउंटर के लिए, या आगे भी जाके वो कैसे करती थी. She would train her, she would show her ki, see, this is how I am doing. She would train her, and then she would leave them in the field or with the customers ki aap karo. And if she would like it, she would hire, otherwise she won't. About 40 saleswomen she used to interview to select one person. That was how finicky she was about hiring the best salesperson. So this is how she started expanding into salons, starting with small counters in various salons, where her saleswoman, she would demo products, would sell products, would give samples, would interact with people, tell them about their products. So this kept happening for a long, long time. So like you're seeing, the routine here is she would talk to a lot of people, makeup, demos, saleswomen in different salon counters, and selling product from there. More than the selling, spreading word about the product, about skincare, about beauty. Finally, when things started growing, and there were a bit of personal problems also, which I'm not dipping into. But finally, आगे जाके, then she and her husband together, they said कि let's turn into a business. ऐसा लग रहा है कि इसमें कुछ है. And at that time, we are talking about 1930s, 1940s, beauty was also picking up as an industry. And there was a lot of competition because of that. So then they thought, let us open a store at Saks Fifth Avenue. Saks Fifth Avenue, for those who have not heard, is one of the highest end luxury shopping destination. It is based in New York. And even now when people go, Saks Fifth Avenue is one of the tourist areas where people want to go to look at the collection and stuff that is sold there. So Esther thought, let's open a counter there. Why? Because there, at that time, it was postpaid. The charges were put into customers' account. They didn't have to pay at that time. इसकी वजह से क्या होता था? Impulse buying होती थी. Impulse buying कि वो वहां आए, उनको पसंद आए प्रोडक्ट्स, उन्होंने ले लिया, उनको वहीं की वहीं पैसे नहीं देने, तो इतना सोचते नहीं है फिर लोग. And plus, it was a huge prestige thing also, and for luxury products, that's important. So they thought, let's open a counter at Saks Fifth Avenue, and they started there. They put in a lot of requests with the management. They did a lot of follow-ups, a lot of calls, visits. Nothing moved. 1-2 साल हो गए इस चीज को वो ट्राई करते रहे, but no approval, nothing. Then because of her own network, own circle of friends, जिसको वो इतने time से she was giving demos and all, she basically got in touch with a couple of people who were working in the management. They had skin problems, and she treated them, which was helpful. And that's how a word spread in the management. The products are good. Plus, because she had so many people already who knew about the products because of her teller women and her makeup and demos and all, people started asking for her products there. And then they realized that, okay, this is something which we can open and which we can sell. And then Saks Fifth Avenue approved her request to open a counter there. And this was in 1947. So Este is around 40 years right now. This was the first proper official beginning of Estee Lauder business. Now, when they had to open at Saks Fifth Avenue, there were two things. First, on the inauguration, who will come? How will they spread a word? And second, packaging. Now, Este was a huge believer in packaging of the products. If they are luxury products, they have to look like luxury products. So, again, like I'm saying, this is a story of obsession. What Este did to figure out the best jar, the best color for her jars. इससे पहले उन्होंने सिंपल जार्स में अपनी क्रीम्स बेची थी ना because this was the first formal beginning she thought of packaging here. So उन्होंने she basically tied up with the best jar makers at that time and got a couple of samples. अब उनको कलर चूज करना था what color to keep. What did they think? She thought ये जो क्रीम्स स्किन केयर मेकअप ब्यूटी प्रोडक्ट्स हैं they will be placed in the bathrooms of a client. So these products have to be the epitome of luxury and harmony, and they have to match the bathroom and the wallpaper decor of all her clients. So she used to keep these jars in her purse, and like I said, she used to party a lot and she used to go out and socialize with people a lot. So she would go, and between the parties, she would go to the bathrooms, the clients' bathrooms. She would take out her jars, put it on the slab, and she would see कि कौन सा best match कर रहा है वहाँ के bathroom decor से wallpaper से. She did it for months before she finally chose one color which she thought would match with most of the bathroom decors and wallpapers, a shade of royal blue color. This is how obsessed she was with perfection, with quality, with brand, with image of what you're selling, and the aggressiveness of selling. So with this, they started their Saks Fifth Avenue. They sent cards to all their existing people who they had given samples, with whom they were in touch. Remember, Estee was not in business, but over these years, she had created a huge network, a huge circle of friends, of people by doing what she was doing. So they sent cards to all of them that you will give you a gift or we'll give you free samples. Come and visit us at our counter here on inauguration. And a lot of people came. And in 2 days they were sold out. So this is how she had built a following, even when she was not doing a formal business. Anyway, so this is about her first formal opening. This is how she started from scratch and came here, where on inauguration day she had a lot of people who would come who knew about her products. From here, how did she open her counters in the other prestigious places? So basically, she spotted all other luxury shopping destinations and prestigious department stores in America. Because it was a luxury product, she wanted them to be placed in the most prestigious stores. The process basically involved, like she says, contacting the store, their procurement manager, calls, visits, a lot of follow-up. Sometimes it would take months, कभी-कभी साल लग जाते थे to get approval, and बहुत सारे follow-ups रखते थे, and finally some would say no, some would say yes, some would say no, and they would get in. बहुत बार उन्होंने बोला ऐसा होता था कि मैं जाती थी और मैं पूरे दिन बैठी रहती थी और वो एंड में मुझे इसलिए मिल लेते थे कि अरे ये पूरे दिन से यही बैठी तो चलो मिल लेते हैं. ऐसा भी बहुत बार हुआ है. So this was a level of persistence and perseverance that she showed in expanding. And cosmetic industry at that time was very competitive. It was not an easy industry because the industry was just about to grow. It was beginning. It was catching momentum, and there were a lot of other players also in the industry, some more established than her. Now she had a very specific counter opening routine. Counter opening means ये जो भी department store है जब ये when they would agree अच्छा ठीक है you should come and open your counter, we give the approval, then वो जो counter वहाँ लगाना और जो inauguration होता था, she had a very specific routine and very insightful. वो एक हफ्ता उस counter opening में लगाती थी. She herself would go for every counter opening. She would also take a very experienced saleswoman along. But she would go herself also in all these counter openings. बहुत बाद तक वो हर अपने counter opening तक जाती रही थी. First thing, the counters had to be very attractive. Of course, if packaging had to be that attractive, counters had to be very attractive. She said tiny spa location types वो counters दिखने चाहिए. So they used to work on that. Display had to be good. Then वो उस week में personally जो भी लोग आ रहे हैं देख रहे हैं उनको मेकअप करती थी, लेसन देती थी, एंड शी वुड टेल हर व्हाट प्रोडक्ट सूट्स यू एंड ऑल दैट. एक सेल्स पर्सन जो उनकी थी उनके साथ होती थी जो वो काउंटर संभालने वाली थी, एंड शी यूज्ड टू look at her doing that and learn from her. Saleswoman, she believed, would be a walking advertisement. Her own skin, her behavior, she would be elegant, she would be the one that people would see and they would come ki, okay, this is some high end brand that we should look at. So she used to spend a lot of time in selecting, recruiting these saleswomen. The counters had to be very attractive. She would visit the sales people in all other departments in that store. So if there's a hat department, there's a dress department, there's shoes department, whatever other departments are there in the store, she would visit the sales people there. And hear me out, वो उन लोगों का भी जाके उनका मेकअप करना, उनको ब्यूटी लेसन देना, उनको टिप देना और उनको एक फ्री सैंपल देना, मे बी लिपस्टिक, क्रीम, वॉट एवर उनको देती थी. एक रैपो बिल्ड होता था उनसे और उनके कान में डाल देती थी कि हमारा एक नीचे काउंटर है. मे बी when आपके clients are you could also refer them to our counter for makeup and cosmetics. And maybe this lipstick matches with this hat, our makeup matches with this color. So इस तरीके से वो उनसे बात करती थी. She would spend time with them, build a rapport, and she would also meet all the beauty editors in that town in that 1 week. Again उनका सेम प्रिंसिपल, उनको मिलना, ब्यूटी लेसन, उनसे बात करना, रिलेशनशिप बिल्ड करना, उनको फ्री सैंपल्स देना, डेमोज देना, with the hope that they will write about her products. And when they will write about her products, the people in that area will come to know about her products and they would come and visit Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder, the word will spread and it will become a household name. उस टाउन में जो भी उनके क्लाइंट्स थे या और कस्टमर्स जिनका उनको कॉन्टैक्ट्स थे, दे वुड सेंड अ फिजिकल कार्ड टू ऑल ऑफ देम, where they would tell them about her inauguration and would also give them a card, would tell them to come to their counter and maybe take a gift, but come and see to spread the word. So this used to be her counter opening routine, which she used to follow for a lot many years in future. In similar way, she also expanded in outside countries. So, for example, London was their first expansion after America. She was an American. This is an American brand. And when they went to London, there was this place, Harrods, which is supposed to be their most prestigious department store. She made 3 trips to Harrods. They refused a lot of calls, a lot of follow-ups. They never agreed. Meanwhile, whenever she used to make a trip, she would take that week. She would meet all the beauty editors, make sure that they write about the product so that people know about it. Eventually, after all these efforts, what started happening? People started asking about her products, and finally Harriet said, okay, fine, take a place. आप आ जाइए और अपना सामान जहाँ भी आपको लगाना है लगा दीजिए. But initially Harriet said कि आप एक general counter में अपना सामान लगाएंगे, हम आपको भी एक special counter नहीं दे पाएंगे. She didn't like it, given her zeal for luxury and package and perception. But she had to agree because there was no other way. So she put her cosmetics there. Gradually, demand picked up. People started finding her there. And after a year or so, Harrods finally said, okay, the products are really in big demand and we'll give you a counter. So point being, it was not easy for her to expand in these counters or salons. But this is what she practically did. And these are strategies she followed to get counters in salons or to get counters in these most prestigious stores across the world. She would follow up. She would visit beauty editors, and that was a routine she used to do to have people know about her products. And this is how store by store, Estee Lauder became quite a big brand. After that, they launched a couple of other brands. Clinique is one of them that they launched later. A couple more things before we finish the video, which Estee Lauder used to say are very important, are one, she says the most important thing in retained business is location. Location, location, location. That's how important it is. When she opened her store in Saks Fifth Avenue, that was the first store she opened, she stood for a week in front of the store and she observed women. When they come in, where do they go? Where do their eyes fall first? And she realized कि entry करते ही आपका right side जो है, that is where most of the women look at. And the chances are that right now, if you get into any store and there's an Estee Lauder, that's where you will find Estee Lauder. She was very, very particular about that location. Second, she said, keep your own image straight in your mind. What do you want? What is your product? Is it a luxury product? Is it a value product? Who is your client? Keep that in your mind. Do your business accordingly. If it's a luxury product, you are selling luxury at all levels, in your creams, in your packaging, in your brands, everywhere you're thinking about that then. So don't get that confused. Third, उन्होंने बोला competition. Competition क्या कर रहा है एक चेक रखो. It doesn't mean that you have to copy what your competition is doing, but be aware कि आपका competition क्या कर रहा है, क्या products हैं. So अभी भी Estee Lauder में, like she's mentioned in a book, they have a separate place जहाँ पे वो competition के products रखते हैं, उनको study करते हैं, and they basically see कि क्या है उनके अंदर क्या products हैं and how they're performing. So these were some of the insights from Estee Lauder herself in a book, in her autobiography that she has written. I hope they will be helpful to you too. Thank you.